very much, Dr. McCauley. Could I just thank Ms. Holohan, Mr. Scanlon, Mr. Richardson and Dr. McCauley for your presentation here today. You asked about political support. Well, you obviously know that you have it from this committee. This is the second time you've had an opportunity within 2 years to make a presentation to the committee, and I don't think that happened previously. As individual members, we will pursue these issues with the Minister and Deputy Chambers, the main opposition party spokesperson on defence, and Deputy O'Sullivan, Deputy Barrett, and the other members of the committee who are here with us. We will pursue those issues as well. We recognise the importance of them. And we had the Chief of Staff here. For the first time, the Chief of Staff made a presentation to an Oireachtas committee. We've had ongoing engagement with Minister Keogh, and we will have Minister Keogh here before this committee again in regard to the white paper. We will take the opportunity to raise some of those particular issues. I think I mentioned to you previously, and I mentioned it oftentimes in discussions on defence-related issues, be it estimates or other aspects of the Defence Forces work, of the Department's work, that I'm very conscious of the very important role of the Reserve Defence Forces and its predecessor, the FCA, over the years. I have the privilege of representing over a considerable amount of time 2 border counties. I grew up in a border community. I saw the thuggery, the violence, the loss of life through the paramilitary activities, and I think it's unsung and it's not recognised enough, the very important role of the Reserve Defence Force during those years. And I have to say, as well as that, it was a very good training ground for young people who may have been vulnerable at that particular time. And I have to say, I know many members of the then FCA, members from Garda Síochána, members of the Permanent Defence Forces, who at times identified young people who may have been vulnerable, who may have not completed their education, who were not in employment, and they ensured that they became members of the then FCA. Many of them went on, progressed to be members of the Permanent Defence Forces, and have served our country with great distinction and with great commitment. I think over the years the Reserve Defence Forces, FCA, have been a very valuable progression route to recruit people into the Permanent Defence Forces. Minister Keogh will tell us here and his department officials that there's a problem in getting people recruited to the Permanent Defence Force. I don't think there's enough being done to use the Reserve Defence Forces as a pathway to a career in the Permanent Defence Forces. I think that would be very important. I think it was farcical one of the years that recruitment was announced in August or something. I said to Minister Keogh and his officials, why do we not target colleges of further education where in many instances there are security courses, there are courses that would appear to have the type of profile of young woman, man, that would be suitable for the Reserve Defence Forces. So I think that there are plenty of avenues to explore in regard to recruitment, but as Deputy Barrett pointed out, it's very frustrating how long the process takes. But I think it's very important. Deputy Chambers referred to the method of recruitment. I think it's very important to have a localised element in it, because, as I've mentioned previously, the local knowledge and the interest of existing members of the Defence Force, of the Reserve Defence Forces, ensure that maybe people who were not aware of the opportunity to join the Reserve, they became aware of it through that local knowledge, through local participation as well. Some time ago, there was, following the 2012 reorganisation of the Defence Forces, there were efforts made to have further reorganisation in regard to the training centres for your organisation. I know at the time the centre in Cavan was proposed to close it. I objected very strongly. We were proposed to be amalgamated into Dundalk, which would be ludicrous. So it would. Thankfully, the centre has remained in Cavan, covering Cavan, Longford, Leitrim and Monaghan, I think, is the configuration. But I think it's very important that there is a localised element to the recruitment and also to the training as well. But again, I would emphasise and put on the record on behalf of the committee and my own behalf our appreciation of the work of the Reserve Defence Forces over the years, and that continues. And it's very heartening to hear how representative the Reserve is of society in general. And of course, we would like to see the potential of what contribution those members could make being utilised to the full. and that's clear from your presentation today. That's not happening. But I just want to assure you that we will continue to ensure that the work of the reserve is given recognition within the discussions and the debates that we have here, and we will highlight to the Minister, to the Department, the need to address the issues that you have outlined to us. And again, on behalf of the committee, I want to thank you sincerely for your presentation, and we would also like if you will convey to your members our appreciation of the work you do. I think it was Senator Ned O'Sullivan said the centenary celebrations, more of the public became aware of the role of the reserve at that time because they saw individual members participating in the different centenary celebrations around the country. And it's only oftentimes when there are crises or calamities, difficult weather conditions, whatever, that we see that we become more aware of the work of the reserve. So again, we would like if you would convey to your members the appreciation of this committee for your work. And again, I want to thank you for giving us a very comprehensive briefing and dealing very, very well with the issues raised by the members. Before adjourning, I just want to remind members that we have 2 informal meetings before we meet again next Thursday to meet with Antonis to discuss the heads of the so-called Brexit bill. We have 2 informal meetings on the 13th and 14th. And the committee secretariat has already notified members of those particular meetings. The meeting now stands adjourned until Thursday, the 14th of February at 4 p.m.